So the banks are doing it. And here's an article in the Wall Street Journal. You can Google it. I mean, Google the title. Shift to wealthier clientele puts life insurers in a bind. This was October 3rd, 2010. And the bottom line is, if you look, the richest Americans own over half of the tax-free investment gains built up in life insurance. And then the notch of Americans right below the richest Americans own the rest of it. And then the families in the bottom half own 6.5%. Well, there's a concern with the life insurance companies that Congress is going to look at this and say, well, gee whiz, it only appears that the wealthy are taking advantage of this vehicle, so we need to change the rules. And just so you know, the rules had been changed earlier for the very same reason. And that's why we're encouraging people to strongly look at how you can safeguard your investments and be in a position where we can be grandfathered, which has been the case most of the time, that when the rules change, you're already in. And we have to look at what the wealthy are doing to determine what's right. You should not follow someone that has not shown you success in what they're doing. Next. So here's the deal. This is why the wealthy basically sit back in a position of authority and laugh. They know that if everybody was made equal in terms of wealth, within 10 years they would have the money again. And they know that. The top 3% know that. And this is why people will always need the banking system. People will charge things. People will finance their cars, finance their homes, finance anything that they want that they're not willing to save and pay cash for, which means that the banking system will always benefit from those who do not have liquidity, use, and control. So let's figure out how we can move on the other side of the equation. And this is where it really gets interesting. The dividend-paying life insurance policy, first of all, we're looking for a company that's mutually owned. And what that means is most insurance companies are what are called stock-owned companies. The board of directors, they report to the shareholders, not to the policyholders. Mutually owned companies are owned by the policyholders. So now you are a part owner. And this is very important. And there are very few mutually owned life insurance companies that are still operating. Because in the early 80s, when we had that great bull market, all of the mutually owned companies, which is what they were in the past, most of the life insurance companies, they demutualized and sold their shares on the stock market, and they became very wealthy. However, they would all love to go back to being mutually owned now because the stock market has not done well in the past decade. So we want to be part owners in this. The next thing is we want to see a 100-year dividend-paying track record. Now, I really want you to think about that for just a second. First of all, this has been going on right in front of us for the past 100 years. That means through the Great Depression, World War II, Vietnam, all of the challenges that this country has been faced with. These insurance companies have paid a dividend. Now, in order to do that, that means you must generate a profit. And that is a powerful statement. 100 years, without fail, paying a dividend. The next bullet is waiver of premium. And since we're asking people to really consider funding their policies, getting these policy cash values built up as soon as possible so that the money can be utilized, we also want to make sure that if something were to happen to you, and you're working and you become disabled, that those premiums would continue to be paid on your behalf until age 65. That's huge because at your current employment, if you're investing in a 401k plan and you become disabled, you're no longer working, therefore you can no longer contribute to the plan. Therefore, your opportunity for creating wealth can be wiped out with something as simple as a car accident.